This help video is going to give a walkthrough of the customer area. So when you go ahead and you add a sale, it creates a customer profile for that customer. Now, in here stores all the information about the sale and all other information about that customer as well. So this is just going to give you a walkthrough of everything that's contained within this area. So the first tab that you come to on here is the summary. So you can see on here it pulls across information from the sale, so name and contact information. But you can also go ahead and if you click edit, you can add a few more things in here. So you can assign a status to the customer. So this is normally done when everything relating to that customer moves on to the next stage. So for example, if they've collected all their items, you can move them to collected, you could say they're on pre-order, you can go through, you can say they've been completed, if they cancel their order, you can choose where they're at. So let's just say this one is on pre-order. You can also assign a tag to them. So this is really useful if you do prom and bridesmaids as well. So it just means that when you then go and try and search a customer, you can find all your brides or your prom customers in one place. So let's say this is a bride. I'm going to assign the bride tag. You can also save measurements against the bride here as well. So we can add in the dress size. I'll just put some information in here. And you can save any other measurements that you might have in there as well. So for example, I could put floor to hip. I have no idea how high this would be. Let's go 100 centimetres. And then you can go ahead and you can click update and it would save that information on there. The next thing that we come to is the sales tab in here. So this contains all the information about the sale that's been made. So if we come down to the bottom, we have the sale items. So on here we have a wedding dress and a belt that have been purchased. Now it has the details of what you've bought on here, so the price, tells you how they're being fulfilled, whether they're stock or to be ordered. And then you also have a status on here. So if you want to change the status, you can do that for each item as well. So if I click on here, it opens up this box. And what you actually can do from here is you can then go and you could say, let's say the dress is pre-order. And if I then update, but the belt has been collected, she took it home with her on the first day, I could then say that has been collected and update. So it just means that you can keep track of each item separately as well. So it's a really useful tool, that. The other thing that you can do from here that you may have just noticed is there's also registries on here too. So this is generally speaking used for things like prom. So you can go ahead and you can go to the other section of the system within inventory and create registries. And then what you'd be able to do is choose from your drop down. I haven't actually created any registries here, but you would create a registry for each school. For that prom season, and then you could give this dress into that registry. So then when you go to check a registry, when you've got a prom customer in, you'll see all the dresses that are allocated against that registry, so you're not selling the same dress twice. So that's the other thing that you can do in there as well. Coming up to here, this is all the information about the one sale that you've just done. So you have the sale number in here, you have the signature where you can add the signature to the sale receipt, and you have the actual sale receipt itself here that you can generate by clicking on the PDF button. You then will open it up and you can see the sale receipt has been created here. It tells you the subtotal, tax, breakdown, initial payment, instalments, who's made it. So all the information is there. So you can swipe backwards and forwards to see all the information if you can't see the full view. Also, if you want to add a secondary sale to the bride, so say on a fitting she comes back and buys a veil or a hoop or something, all you need to do is click add sale here, and what it will do is it will go through the same process as when you originally added the sale. So you add in your item, you add in your payment details, and then they'll be stacked on top of each other down here. They'll just be in a list. So if you add multiple sales to one account, they'll all be itemised in here. We then come over to the orders tab. So this will only have a 1 against it or a 2 if one of the items within your sale you put down to be an order. So within my sale, my fulfilments were 1 was an order and 1 was stock. So the one that's order has triggered an order to be made in here. So you can see it's the wedding dress that needs ordering. And if we come over here, we can see that the required date isn't until 2026. So it's telling me I need to order it in November 25, which means it's a low priority. So it's saying that I don't need to make that order yet. This then communicates with the orders section of My Bridal, and then you can go in and raise a purchase order for your unordered items. So this will speak to the order area. You'd go to the order section to raise a purchase order, but here just tells you the details. If you were then to raise a purchase order, that communicates back through to this area in the customer profile, and it will tell you that it's been ordered, it'll tell you if it's been confirmed, etc. So it communicates through to the order section, but it just means if a bride phones you up, you can go to search her name, go to her profile, and you can check where her order's at on here. The next tab is for payments. So this has basically all the information about any payments and the sale itself. So within here, you can see I've had no balance payments collected at this stage, no charges. So this would be like appointment charges would be itemised in here. I can see all my scheduled payments. So I did a payment plan for this one. So I have lots of different outstanding payments down here. And then we also down here, we have all the information about any sales that have been taken and any transactions that have happened already. So we have the original sale and all the scheduled payments down here. We have a few additional options up here. You can add a refund. So if you were to generate a refund for the customer, this is where you go ahead and do it. Same for a payment. So if they do phone up to pay off the balance, you just click here, add payment, and you can add that in. You can edit your payment plan here. So because I've got an existing one in place, I can click there to amend it. And if I come back down to here, we have a balance adjustment. So this is generally used, so say they've got an outstanding balance and unfortunately something's gone wrong with their process, the dress is late, there's an issue with the dress. So you say, okay, I'm going to knock £500 off your balance or £100 off your balance or whatever. That's not actual physical money that's been taken. You're just adjusting your outstanding balance for the customer. So you can go ahead here and you can add the balance adjustment. So for me, so I've got an outstanding balance of 465. I could say I'm knocking £200 off and that would come down to 265. I could then recalculate and it would work out the payment plan based on that new lower number. You can also generate a balance statement here. So if I click on this, it will open up a PDF document and this will document all the transactions for that bride. So you'll have your sales, you can see all my scheduled payments, but if you had other payments on there like X payments, appointment charge, any refunds you've done, all of that would be documented on here. So if the bride wants a copy of all the transactions, you can generate this and get that to them that way. You can download it or you can print it or you could email it across to them. I think that covers all of the information that's in the payments tab here. I will do a separate video about how to add a payment, how to add a refund, how to add a balance adjustment, so you can see exactly how you would go through and do that. So I'll do that video separately as well. We then have the forms section of the customer profile. So this, if they've filled in an inquiry form, this is essentially where the inquiry form would link to the customer. So you could just click on that to then view the inquiry form for this customer. It'll bring you through to it there. Media, so you can upload images against each customer as well. So really useful for, let's say, it's the dress images, or if it's a sample dress that you've sold, so you want to give some pictures of any damage or the condition of the dress. So just simply click add image and you can then add your image in. Once you've added an image into the customer profile, there is actually an option that you can share it with the bride as well. So if you're using our customer portal, if you click make this, I think it says share with bride or make this image public, it's a little toggle that you just click. And that means that the bride would then be able to access that image in the customer portal as well. So again, really nice way to share images with your bride without having to, WhatsApp them, send them across on your phone. It can actually be done within the system itself. If you don't make it public or share it with the bride, those images are just private to you. Using My Bridal, the bride wouldn't be able to see them. So if you have any like alterations or fittings type images you want to upload, you're fine to save them there as well. You can also upload files. So if you do have any external forms that you use, if you have any like order forms or any PDF documents you want to upload against this bride, so you keep all your documents in one place, you can upload that here as well. You can upload the file. We have the party tab. So generally speaking, this is used if you have a big wedding party. So lots of bridesmaids, for example. So say there's 10 bridesmaids and they're all paying for their own dresses. It then is really difficult to keep track on who's paid what balance they've all got. So you can go ahead and you can add a party member. So the reason we created this is because they require a lot less detail than the actual sale. You might not want to gather all the contact information, address, phone number, email, etc. for each party member. So I could go ahead and I could just say, yes, right. And that's literally all the detail that I need to create a party member. You can literally just get the name. If you then click on it, they then will have their own customer profile with just literally their name in it. And you can go ahead and you can add the sale into there. So I could go ahead, click here, come through to items. Let's do bridesmaid. And I haven't got any saved, but let's just say it was a £90 bridesmaid dress. Next, submit. So I've quickly added that sale in. Let's say it was a credit card payment, confirm. That's my sale receipt asking me to send. So if you do that, you can then come back across to the party section here, and you'll see that she's connected to Chelsea Smith, who is the lead member of the party. You can see I've got an outstanding balance for Chelsea Smith. If I come back to Chelsea again, which is the profile that we've been looking at this full time, we can now see Jess Wright is there, and we can see she's got a 0 balance, because when I just added that sale, I did it to pay in full. But if she had an outstanding balance, all of her bridesmaids would be itemised down here. So just quite useful for if you are trying to keep tabs of it separately. So it's a good option if you do have a large party. Communication just documents any communication between you and the bride, any messages that are being sent. And that then brings us over to the timeline. So the timeline is such a useful piece of the customer profile. It basically documents everything relating to that bride. So everything through from, you can see here, we've got the inquiry form, we've got an appointment, we've got a sale, and then I've got all the outstanding payments on here. When you order the dress, it also will say it on here. So you'll get like the date and time the dress has been ordered, when it's been confirmed. Any other transactions that have gone through appointment charge would be itemised on here. And the really cool thing that you can do as well is you can add comments on here. So we tend to advise people to document all communication with the bride. So if she phones up, just document that conversation in the timeline here. So you choose which employee has spoken to the bride, and then you go on and you'd say, bride phoned up. Let's just say she's worried about something. Excuse my typo. And create, and you can see that then adds into the timeline here. So you can also pin it. So if you pin it, it will stay at the top of the timeline. So if it's a customer account that you want somebody to see the information about straight away, you could just put that and use it as like a notice at the top of the account, so that whoever logs onto her account will see, okay, this has happened. And it's really good to cover yourself, like legally, if there's any issues. I mean, touch wood, there never would be, but if there is, if you document everything that's happened, you can do it on here. And also, it's possible that you've not been in the shop, maybe you've not been working and somebody else has taken it or dealt with the situation, and then she phones up and wants to follow up on that. You can then quickly pull up her customer profile and see exactly what's been going on. The only other things that are really on here is we have the information up the top. So this is the customer number. In My Bridal, every new customer gets a customer number, and every sale that goes through also gets a sale number, which is this number in here. You have the event date, which is self-explanatory. You have information about the sales, any payments that have been taken. So the initial payment is the deposit, any payments that have been taken, and any outstanding balance. If you hover over these question marks, it gives you a little bit of a breakdown about the charges. So you can see my sale was £930. I've not had any charges, no refunds, no balance adjustments. So the total is still £930. Same for payments. You can get a running total of any payments, refunds, charges. I haven't applied any in this account, so pretty self-explanatory. And the same for the balance. So you can see here, my sale minus the initial payment equals a balance of 465. So if you're wondering where some of the figures have come from, you can use these hovers to kind of work out and think, right, okay, that's gone too much, or she's been refunded that much, that's why that's that number. So it just kind of helps you to work out exactly the figures for everything. We have up here, we have autoflows. So if you click on here, it will then generate the customer autoflows for this bride. So we can see I have it set up when I add a new customer that I want a new customer message to send. That says like, thank you for purchasing with us. You've started your journey at this bridal store. This is what might happen next. I've also scheduled a customer wedding message to send. So this just means on the wedding day or day before, I've got this set to send them a congratulations message. So quite a nice little touch. But you can set those up in your autoflow area, but that just allows you to access them and you can check that they're scheduled or that that's been sent. You also have the ability to send them a login link. So if you want to send a login link to the customer portal so they can access their own version of this section, you can then send them a login link to do this. I would suggest you probably set this up as an autoflow to send when a customer is added, because it just means you're not having to manually send it, but you can manually send it here. You can also send the bride a message here. So this is templated messages. You are able to email like a personalised message each time, but you can send email templates. And this is just doing it without an automation. So it would be you thinking, okay, I'm going to send this template now. So sometimes people will do that for, like one of the triggers we don't have at the moment is if the dress has arrived. So you might want to go into that customer, click send message, and you can then choose from your templated messages. You could have a customer message saying dress arrived, and you could send that when that dress arrives in store. You can also do the same for SMS as well, but generally speaking, I think the email is more used at the customer stage. You have another tab to upload the image, which is just the same as what we saw before on the media tabs down here. You can book a new appointment for that customer. So if you want to book a new appointment, so if you're phoning up to book their fitting or something like that, if you click add new appointment here, it adds it to this customer, so it pulls across all the information. So really good to use if you're booking in that fitting or collection or something like that. You can add a new task against this customer, so that will then sit in the diary. So say I wanted to add a new task, which is something like, let's say I want that person to do it. Let's say it's due on this day because she's coming in to collect a dress. You could add a task saying steam dress, incomplete, create. You can see it's been added to the timeline as well, and that task will then be added into the diary as well. But then it's connected to this customer, so you know that the task is to steam the dress for this customer. What else? So we've got just an option to refresh the page, view the portal. So this then allows you to view what the customer portal would look like. And then down here, we just have a few more options. So the same type of thing that we've already just looked at. You also have the ability to transfer a customer. So if they're in a different boutique, so if you have a multi-store business, you could change them from this customer being, so for me, it's in my Leeds boutique. I could transfer across to my Hull boutique. You can archive them, if you finish with this customer completely, if they've cancelled their order, or if they've just been completed, you can archive them so they're not taking up space on your system. Refresh, view portal. I'll delete the customer completely as well if you wanted to. So I think that completes the walkthrough. The one thing I'll show you quickly as well is the customer portal. So basically the customer portal is a simplified view of what you would see on the customer area. So this is what you'd send the login link to the bride, and they would then be able to access this customer portal themselves. So it just has information about their customer number, sale payment, so the same thing that you would see at the top here. They also get this tab as well, so they can see their sale receipt and access it that way. So it's a really good way if you give them the login to the portal for them to be able to access the sale receipt. You can scroll across and that just has the same information you would see. And they also have this information down here. So they don't have the status or any problem registry or anything, but it tells them the items that they've bought. It doesn't tell them how it's been fulfilled, but it tells them the variations and the price. They also have the payments tab, so they can see any payments that have been made, anything that's scheduled, and then just the balance statement across here and all the information about what's due. And if you had shared any images with them, we would have a third tab here with images, and they'd be able to click on there to view the images as well. They also have the ability to book an appointment through here as well. So it will come through as a request, but they can actually go to their customer portal and they could request an appointment as well. So I think that does cover all the information relating to the customer area and the customer portal.